Alright, so we are back yet again. Another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video. This one, yeah, we have one more day. It is here already, the Draft Box 4, number 04, coming out tomorrow, Friday, if this comes out on time. And maybe if it's early, oh well. Or maybe it's late, oh well. We do have, I think, the Texas regional, well, last chance qualifier coming up either this week or the next. I'll put it up on the screen here. If you haven't checked out Cyberman's article for the ratios for the cards as well, please go check that out. And also, finally, yet again, if you want to support the boy, use the link in the description below, because I am a TCG affiliate as well for any of these cards, and as well as the draft box, because I am planning to do a few giveaways to the road to 4,000. It's going to be a separate, complete separate video of all the other stuff that I want to do. But one of those things, I kind of want to give out a draft box as one of the giveaways. I'm thinking about it, but if you guys have any inklings or any comments about that, let me know in the comments below. And like, dislike, subscribe if you're new. Let's take a look at the first one. This is no particular order, but we're gonna start out with Gallic Cannon, and basically for the number 10, and then of course this is 10 of the top 10 cards, or 10 of the cards of the draft box that I think you should probably pick up, or probably should take a look out for, whatever it may be. Some of these are SR, some of these are not. But for Gallic Cannon, this one says it's a counterplay, which if the battle card is played, choose up to one of those battle cards, and it gets negative 10k power for the duration of turn. So this is a very interesting card. And when we're talking about pros, this is technically generic, because this is technically a generic counter for anything playing red. It doesn't say if your looted card is red, if your looted card is Universe 7, 6, whatever it may be. This is just if you have a red energy and you paid for it, you can activate the counterplay. It kind of gets rid of anything, 1 or 2 energy that is 15k or less, sometimes even 3 energy. It really depends. There are 4-cost cards like Whis that get rid of, or that you can get rid of as well. Not that it matters, because the autos go off, which should be in the cons, but now you know. And then now it's a negative 15k for any attacker played. So if they bring out a 20k body, it has no it doesn't have barrier. You can then go ahead and minus 15k. Now this is just a 5k attacker. If you are playing a red leader, you can then use Active Image, or Is That All You Got, or any other red negate in combination with this, and then either clear the board or kill it off. Plus, this is also very much cheaper than other cannon plays. We do have 1-cost cannon plays now, but this is just kind of effective that way. It's just very versatile. Other than the con that I said before, where it does choose where you can't get around barrier. It also has to be the first counter window, in which it says when the battle card is played. The second counter window, as in like you're paying a skill. Yes, shout out to the San Diego Regional, in which you counterplay window first. It is being played, and then you play this, and it gets negative 15k power. You choose that card, and it gets negative 15k power. The other counter window is if it plays with the skill like World Peace or Familiar Bonds. You have to play it on the first window, because the card is already played on the second one. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I am correct. Judge Manny or anybody else who is better than I can let me know otherwise. The other con is that you have to play red. That's pretty much it, other than the stuff I mentioned. Moving on to Topo. This man is uncommon, yes I know, but I do want to give you guys kind of the heads up for this one if you aren't aware of it. Yeah, it is similar to the 4-cost Topo that we had before, where you play for 2, or it gets reduced at least if you're 15k or they're 15k, and you can swing and restand. But this one, it's kind of a generic counter, because it doesn't need a red leader, doesn't need anything else. It just needs to be in your hand on their opponent's turn. It is aggro mitigation, because they have to drop 2 when they attack, and then technically hand destruction is sort of with that red and green archetype, in which green has a lot of hand destruction. You can kind of couple it with the red stuff, and then it is a 20k body. It is a 20k 5k combo. Like, at worst, you have a 2-cost body that you played on their turn, which is perfect on pan, of course, or in pan, and then virtually stop their turn, because a lot of people can't afford 2 cards out of their hand every time they attack. So if you negate their leader or negate one of their big boys with double strike, and now they have to not attack with their leader because it says your opponent can't attack. And this means any card, including their leader, unless they choose 2 cards from their hand. So pretty good. And then the other cons is, of course, you have to play red. It's only one red, so that's good. After a while, I feel like it's depreciating value. You'd rather have a 1-cost counter in your hand, but I will say that if they have a big board later in the game and you have this in your hand, this might be a good tool to do that. So go back to the pros. The other con is that since it can pass top of the turn, they can easily pass the turn. So if they swing with their leader and you don't time it right, in which they're playing counter plays and leave up the energy open, they can easily pass and then just play their counter plays afterwards. Overall, very cool card. It is an Alien, Pride Trooper, and Universe 11, so a lot of tags to be searchable. Pretty cool. Moving on to the next one that has a lot well, this and the other 2 red cards that we just went through. No coincidence at all that red support got all of this. It is another counterplay option in which if your leader card is red, it's a 3 cost. When you play the card, you negative 20,000 all of their battle cards, the ones without barrier. And if there's an opponent's turn, which you can play this on your turn, you get a 5k boost on your leader. So that's a huge thing, in which it is a red Sensu Bean. It is another counterplay option. It's a board wipe for a lot of different things, including U6. It is searchable with the Universe 7. So if you're playing red yellow, which is not going to be out of the realm of possibility with the new red or the new yellow baby stuff, actually. So that's going to be really interesting to see if anybody does play that. The other part of it is that since it is a red leader restriction, which is part of the cons, I would say if you play this for 3 and a 19k, and even if in pan, you can still get off the effect in which it negative 20k for the duration of turn. If I had to pick like 1 or 2 cards out of all of these, I would probably pick this one, and probably the Piccolo. Like those are 2 of the ones that I really, really like. And probably, I wouldn't say see as much play, but I will say you have to watch out and understand that is an option now for different leaders and different decks. Anyway, so again, you have to have a red leader to have it as a 3 cost. 5 costs is kind of a lot. I mean, if you're going to be world piecing it out, which is an option in like ramp, you can go ahead and do that. Again, the 3 cost restricts the previous turn. So like if you're opening up or leaving 3 open on your previous turn and then passing, people may know what you're doing. So if they play something and, well, if they don't play something and they already established a board, like 2 or 3 people, and they swing with those, and then they play something, and then you wipe their board, they already got their value out. So it's one thing to kind of work around. So 19k power is kind of annoying. If you noticed, a lot of these cards coming out and have 19k power to avoid the chain attack and not a 20k body for defense. What that means is that when you're swinging for a 19k body, they have to combo out 5k. But the other part of it is that when you're defending, you have to combo it out because it is in a 20k, if that makes sense. So one of those things to kind of really consider when going into or putting this into your deck. Okay, moving on to the Piccolo. So one of my favorite cards yet again. This is a very cool card if you either A, build around it, or B, play it. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one. So this guy has barrier. As an activate battle, you have to have Bantu, which is kind of annoying, but if you have another barrier card like a 1-cost barrier, which are pretty cheap and easy to find nowadays in a lot of different colors, you can go ahead and establish this turn 3 or 4, and then he does have a wide range removal because 5 or less is a lot. I played against this with Young Badmans as a Kid Goku, and it literally killed off probably 70% of my deck. As long as he had another card, which he had like 3 cards on the board, and I had no removal for that, it's a done deal. The other part of it is that he is value city, so not only he KOs on both turns, because it is an activate battle, not activate main, you do draw on both turns, which is crazy. He is only 1 green as well, and one of the cons that I didn't put, which I think Eggman said one time or another, it is a target for the Power Booster Piccolo. So when you do get him out and you Power Booster Piccolo him out, it is a 4 cost, and then you pass turn, he still regains barrier. You can't actually use his effect that turn because it negates it, but you can use their effect on their turn. So this is a perfect target for that. The other part of it is that 4 cost is costly, so if you're trying to cheat it out with World Peace or the Power Booster, those are the ways to do it. It is susceptible to denial and preemptive. It is a 20k body and 4 cost, so that's annoying. It does have barriers, so the other counter plays aren't really affecting it. And then it most likely won't be swinging, so it's just gonna sit there. Most of the time, in my opinion, you just want it to sit there. So yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is the new blue-green Goku and Gohan. So this is a lot. This is an interesting card. So this one is a rival blue and green. Yeah, 2 different ones, and you meet the blue and green requirements of actually comboing. And then another part of it is that when you play this card, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less, place an energy in their opponent's energy in rest mode, and then they have to drop 1. So it's an interesting thing to ramp them and then remove and then also make them drop. The reason why I put this on here is because it is a 25k body. It does get around a lot of different counterplays. I can't think of one other than Champa that would affect this too much. The other thing is that it is a searchable 5 cost Goku. So again, some Goku and Gohan, it is blue and it is green. So not only the 1 cost Gohan that searches, the Kansei Goku that searches, the one that searches the, I think it's a Krillin or something like that, searches Gohan, so if you want to do that. But it is searchable. And because it is a 5 cost, it is a UI target. So that is wild. That is stupid. It is also a 6 drop target. It has a lot of targets, okay? Let's just, come on. It is blue and green, so it is the first of the multicolors to do that. Blue and green is an interesting color. There are already a number of different archetypes that I can think of that it really will benefit from that, but we will see. Hand destruction and removal for 5 or less, and then, like I said, it gets around counterplay. So the cons, however, it is 2 cost. 2 cost. It is very neg, because you have to put 2 costs. I mean, because this is the only card. No, so this is the only blue-green target that I know of, or multicolor that I know of, in which you have to spend 2 cards, at least 2 5k combos or whatever, and then pay green and blue after that. So you're negging 4 at the very most, and I know that makes it's a little bit weird, but you do neg them 1, and then you do remove if you like to, and ramp them. So that is kind of another con to ramp them in the energy, but they can't get that card back unless they're playing like U7 Vegeta, that is. It is a 1 cost combo, which that is annoying as well as another multicolor, and there are no other targets until Android 21 and other sets come out, like sets 8, which is going to be in November. So that's going to be pretty cool. All right, moving on. So the next one is probably going to be this one, like, Where do I start with this card? So this card says activate main, you pay 1 green, you send it to your warp, and then you play it at the end of the opponent's turn. And when you play it, you choose up to 2 cards from your life and add to your hand. So the reason why this is so cool is because it is cheap awakening for 1. Counters are very less effective. I'm not saying it is not effective at all, but if you play this turn 1, it is going to be very effective, because at most, other than the Kaba awakening, and this gets around the new counterplay, the Desperate Measures one, this isn't really affected. This isn't really affected by it. And the reason why that's very important is because this does play on the opponent's turn, not your turn. So at the end of their turn, it gets the auto in which you choose those 2 from your life, up to 2. And because it is searchable with the Son Gohan Childhood and Earthling and Saiyan now, it is choose up to. So again, if you somehow take 2 life and now you don't want to take those, you don't have to do that. And it is a Chi-Lai buff because again, it is on their turn. Chi-Lai says you can't do it on your turn. It just doesn't say that. So there you go. Another part of it is that for the cons, for the kind of depreciating value, because it is just a 1 cost card basically. It's a, well, okay, let's put it back. Let me say this again. So it is a 1 cost card for a 5k body, which like late game is not going to do too much for you. It is a awakener, so late game is not going to do much to you. It's just going to be energy, and it is a 1 cost combo and a 3 cost card. So you're not going to be hard casting it, and you're not going to be using for a rival because it is a 1 cost card. At best, it's going to be energy, and at best, you're going to have to use these early on to the game, which it's perfect for. I think that's their sort of way of, you know, what's the word? Balancing. There you go. It's been so long. Moving on to 4 and 3, or at least, yeah, 4 and 3. I just want to make sure I got that right. We have the Tag Team Son Gohan, the Super Saiyan 3. That is Gohan, not Goku. And then the Super Saiyan 3 Trunks. So both of these are very cool. The reason why is because you get a free blocker when a black battle card is removed. Oh, I should have put that in the cons. When a black battle card is removed from a battle area by a skill, you activate the skill and you may play this from your hand. So you don't activate it. I mean, you don't pay for it, so it's free. And then the other part of it for the other tag team is that you overwhelm for 3 and you warp 1 card, and now it gains critical and double strike basically. Well, when you overwhelm, it gains critical, and then when you warp it, it gains double strike. So it's a double strike critical for 15 for very, very cheap. And now when this goes away, he comes in because overwhelm is a skill. They're both searchable with the Saiyan and Earthling tag now. And then, well, other than Black Overwhelm like Kai or whatever, Time Patrol Trunks, he is a cheap double striker for crit, Awakening for Toa because you send it to warp instead of drop. Gohan can kind of work with any overwhelm target or any skill. So if you, for some reason, kind of you have like a Kami or something else that they remove, you can go ahead and activate the Gohan skill and then go from there. So it's pretty cool. I should have put in the cons that it is only black battle cards. They're only 15k bodies, and you can only have 1 Gohan in the battle area. I guess the 1 into warp is kind of a neg as well because you don't really plus from any of these. You sort of just play them. So yeah. Moving on to 2 and 1, and again, not a definitive list, not in order, but you know, Goku, Son Goku, well, Rose Goku, and the fused Zamasu that has an activate battle for 2. You basically choose one of the battle cards for 2 or less and KO it in the activate battle after paying 2, and then activate main. You choose up to 1 green Zamasu card, energy cost of 5 or more, and play it. And then you untap 1 of your green energy to switch to active mode. So technically it's a 2 cost. And then this one is an indestructible 20k, in which you activate main. If you have 3 more energy, you choose green battle cards in battle area with 5k or more. Total cost of 5, place in the drop area, and then play from your hand. And then when it swings, they drop 1. So this is a lot. These two do quite a lot, or can do a lot for you guys, for your deck. That is, it is easy removal. It is a target for Zamasu. This one is for this one, and as well as the 7-drop Zamasu, which is a baller thing to do on turn 3. And then it is a cheap 20k indestructible. This guy, that is. It is indestruction. It is colorless, so none of this is specified color. The cons, however, is that Zamasu is very specific. Yes, you have to have 3 energy. Yes, you have to pay 1. It is activate main, and it is susceptible to like denial, that type of thing. And for this, in which it says 5k power or more, so no tokens, or, well, not tokens, but anything 0 cost. I guess I don't know. I don't know why they put that actually. Huh. And then the total cost energy of 5 and placed in a drop area. So it has to add up to 5 or at least be 5. From what I can tell, other than the green is very specific, but the battle cards, I would say you can choose 1 5 cost, like 20,000 power, 5 costs, whatever it may be, and then use as effect. If someone can tell me that for sure in the comments below, that'd be great, because it says battle cards, not battle card. Activate battle can restrict the turns played before, just like the arrival stuff. 3 energy might be still a little costly, but on the bright side, if you do play 1, you can go ahead and untap 1 after or during their main phase, which technically is pretty cool because U6 will tap down your energy, so you might as well do it while it's on their main phase. So pretty cool. They're both searchable as well for gods, so that's pretty awesome. Honestly, when you start playing these cards, you'll understand why I put them on the list. Go play with them. They're going to be great. Now, honorable mentions to wrap this bad boy up, because I've talked long enough. We have Remote Serious Bomb, which allows anybody to remove anything without barrier that they choose, which is the downside. they have to choose. But if they only have one target and it's a big target, or if you remove one and then you play this, it is unconditional. It is something that they can't really interact with, which is why I like the 1-cost extra cards for a while now. And it's very good. You can play it in any deck because it's colorless. Pretty cool. And then we have the Ultra Instinct Unstoppable. This one can't be negated in any area. What I would say is that it is a 20k cost body. So Preemptive and Denial still can't interact with it. So if someone can tell me if that's right, let me know. When you play this card, you choose one of their battle cards and it returns to the owner's hand, and then you draw one card. It is a 4-cost in which you counterattack or counterplay. So interesting that it is that. I mean, it's not really a target for anything because it's not a 4 or 5 cost, or it's not a 5 cost, it's a 4 cost. So I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think if there's any other target. I don't think it is though. But this basically can remove or pop or bounce anything as long as they're not playing a denial or something in response. But generally, if you're going to be saving a 4-cost counterplay like this, then you're going to be playing against something super big like Gogeta Revives. Because if they play Gogeta Revive, they'll reset your hand. But first, you're gonna go ahead and play this card. Their auto goes in effect. You drop to 3. It's gonna be on the board. Your auto goes in effect. You draw 4 because of this effect, and then you bounce it back to the hand. Now they crit 1 life, and you're starting at 4 cards. Now 5 when you draw. So it's gonna be pretty cool to answer those type of things. Janemba, in which also can, because if you're going against ramp, it's gonna return to your hand. Now they have to combo it out or something. Janemba, so the crit chain got some support. This is 3 or more energy. You pay 1 and now you play it. It's stupid. And then you pay 2, you play the 5-drop. So I don't know what else to tell you. It's crazy. It's a really good card. And for 1 cost to try to get around counterplays, I'm with it. Champa and Beerus. This was a rival red and green, which really kind of established what red and green looks like. And you only play 1. You pop something with a 20k power or less, and then you gain or you give something 6 or less double strike. There are a lot of targets in that range. I've been testing Lord Slug with the Anguilla, in which you give the Anguilla double strike for the duration of turn. It's pretty baller. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you play this in something like Veggies or something like King Vegeta, it would be really cool if you go ahead and give the Kefla double strike for the turn. And there you go. There's a combo right there. The Great Ape Bardock. This is probably one of my favorite cards as well that I hope people are sleeping on. So please don't play this. This does a lot for you. It's a 2-cost combo, yes, but it is a 20k. It is a 10k that you can defend with, in which you play this card, you draw 1, and then you tap 1. Like, come on, like that's amazing. But it as well as when you play this card, when you pay the 2, and your leader card is yellow, which is the only downside to this, really, other than 2 cost. You can play it from your hand. It's just a really good card. You stop plays, you draw 1, and now you have this 20k double striking body. Slumber Strike. The reason why I put this one on here is because it is a leader card, which is a father-son Kamehameha. But the other part of it is that you choose 1 battle card with energy cost greater or equal to your opponent's energy and KO it. The reason why this is important is because it says 1 battle card. Unless they errata it, you can choose your own battle card, which means you can go ahead and pop a 7 or more, or 7 or less, that is, and then get out the Broly secret rare. Otherwise, 3 costs or less for 1. It's not that bad. King Vegeta, you already know. There's not really much to say about that card. It negates everything. Why would they print that? King Vegeta yet again. It's not the best card, but it is a King Vegeta target for 1 cost energy. So if you play it turn 2, turn 3, you evolve on top of it. Now you got some apes. Now you have free combo. Pretty cool. And now it's a Shigesuke Goku 3 costs or less during the battle card or a battle phase. Yeah. Vegeta is actually pretty cool. It's a 1 cost activate battle, and you play this, and then you protect a 6 cost or 6k more, which is technically a 10k universe 6 or 7. 20k body, easy for 1. And then Desperate Measures, one of the other cards you have to watch out for. If your battle card is 2 or less, if they're playing 1, it's returned to the owner's hand instead of being played. Again, it's like the preemptive and denial in that way, just for 2 or less, and then you choose up to one of your blue battle cards and it costs you 3 or less and turn in the hand. The reason why this card is awesome is because it is saying instead of it's being played. And so they don't get any effects, they don't do anything like that. 2 costs or less. It's pretty cool, and it's a wide range nowadays. Another part of it is that because the Gohan, the counterplay Gohan is 3 or less, you can go ahead and return that after you play this, especially if you swung with it the turn before, and now you have a counterplay in your hand that can untap 1 and then have it be a 15k body and remove all of that. So this card does a lot for you, just like the other draft box cards that I talked about. They do a lot of stuff, and I honestly am very excited to see this next event that is coming up. A little scared for Nats, but I will figure it out along the way. Please let me know what I missed. If you have any other suggestions, subscribe if you're new, dislike, like, dislike, etc. Help me get to 4K. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.